Nicholas, you got the floor. Go ahead and ask your question.
So like I'm currently an intern at a radio station, it's like an internet radio station, and they're not really that popular. Is there a way that they can help to get more views?
Social media, social media, social media. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and also, you know, putting a little bit of money into ads. It ain't nothing wrong with, you could put $20 in a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad and start to reach. And this goes back to the young lady that just asked a question too. How can I reach other demographics? Put a couple of dollars on a Facebook post or an Instagram ad. And me and my partner, who we're doing a lot of interviews with, you know, I'm doing a lot of interviews every weekend, just interview Jim Jones and H-Town and Crunchy Black of 3-6 Mafia and some other Doughboy from Cleveland, Ohio, Auntie Piggy from Cleveland. These are artists that, you know, are bubbling or about to bubble or established artists. But we were having a meeting last week, and he was like, yo, we should consider putting some money behind some of these posts so we can get these views up. Because for me, the Sean Anthony Live is a new brand that I've created just recently, a few years ago. So, you know, I've reestablished this brand. I evolved and created this new brand, Sean Anthony Live. So I'm practicing what I'm preaching. I'm consistent with posting. I've put a little bit of money behind certain ads of interviews and stuff like that, because I'm trying to build up my new YouTube channel, which is what? Sean Anthony Live. My Flow of Wisdom channel is already established. You know, I've got, you know, let me just show you here. And while I'm doing this, Phillip, you can pull the next guest question. But that, to answer your question, man, just being consistent and using social media. Okay. So this is my Flow of Wisdom channel, right? You see, I got over 10,000 subscribers. And when I tap into the analytics here, you know, I can see, you know, which videos are getting a lot of views, which videos aren't getting a lot of views, which videos I'm getting content on. The dope thing about this is you get to see who your audience is. Let me get to audience here. So this is what I love about it. You get to see which geographies is clicking. So I got obviously a lot of views coming from the US, Australia, Canada, the UK. Where were we at? Here's the age and gender, female to male. That's interesting. See, this is the target demo. This is where you start to, this is the target demo, guys. This is the important stuff that you really need to know. Who are you appealing to? But anyway, these are some of the analytics that you can look at and see what's working and what you can do to tailor your content and how you reach, you know, and how you broaden your reach. Now the Sean Anthony Live YouTube page is new. I just created it. So I'm still adding content, you know, on it on a weekly basis, because I got to be consistent. And I'm constantly promoting it, telling people to go and, you know, subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, just like Linda did at the beginning of this broadcast. While you are watching on YouTube, be sure to like this video and subscribe.
Definitely. Know those demographics and know those analytics. They will help you drive your effort and your success. Ashley Reed, you got the floor. Go ahead and ask your question so Sean can answer it.
Hi, my question was, as far as wanting to be a radio personality, I've been told that that's not the easiest job to get. So what steps should I be taking now to essentially get to that goal of becoming a personality?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Getting in radio as a radio personality, it's not that easy. That is true. But there are some entry-level positions that you can get that will put you in the door. Okay. For example, you can become a board operator. That's an entry-level position to get in at a radio station. And what is a board operator? They are operating the board. They are managing they'll run the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, or they'll run the Breakfast Club. They'll run the DL Hughley Show or something like that. They are the ones that making sure all the commercials get aired and making sure the music is up, the levels are right, and so on and so forth. Another entry-level position is getting in the promotions department. Promotions department is always needing help, from setting up live remotes, live broadcasts, to the different events that we host as a radio station. So those are ways to get your foot in the door. Okay, what you do when you get in there is all up to you. Okay, but that's the most important thing is if you go in there with the mindset, you know what, I want to be a radio personality, but here's an opportunity, a job opening as a board operator, even though it's not what I want to do, but this will put you in a position to be in relationships with the right people that will get you there. And while you're there, you got access to the building. I never forget, I told one of my previous students, he was getting frustrated because he got hired at a radio station here in Columbus, and he got hired part-time, and he was getting frustrated as to why he wasn't getting on more opportunities to be on the air. And I gave him some very specific advice. I said, first of all, you have the key fob to get in the building, don't you? He's like, yes, I do. I said, why are you here? I said, you need to be at that radio station, asking the promotions director, do they need help? Ask the production director, do you need help cutting commercials? Asking the morning show host, can I help you with your morning show? Be at the station, out of sight, out of mind. He took my advice. Long story short, a month later, he started getting more airtime because he was around the program director. He was at the station, and they seen him. They seen he was hungry. And next thing you know, 2 months later, he had a set shift. Then another month later, he started filling in for the full timers. And then recently, he just got hired to do his own night show in Michigan. He was on 99.7 The Blitz here, and he took every piece of advice I gave him, and now he's full time, got his own show in Michigan. I'm so very proud of him, and he went to the Ohio Media School.
Yeah, Seth did his thing.
Seth just did his thing.
So, and you guys, I can't stress to you enough how right Sean is, because I've been in the entertainment industry for 22 years, and I got my start being a board operator for multiple shows for an entire year. Nobody heard my voice for an entire year before I did that, and now I'm a director and a movie producer and all of this other stuff. But I started being silent for a year, making everybody else sound good. So get in the door. So right now it is 22 minutes past the hour. We've got 8 minutes before we close up. So what we're going to do is do some rapid fire. I'm going to open the floor up first with, let me go back to his name. I think it's him, I'm not quite sure. S. Williamson. We're going to let you ask your question, 60 seconds. You ask your question. Sean, you got 60 seconds to answer, and then everyone else put your hands up, use that feature, and we'll call on you so that you can go. All right, S. Williamson, you got the floor. 60 seconds starts now.
All righty, most excellent. Thank you so much for taking my question. Looks like you already answered some of my question there previously, but I was just wondering, I do have experience in terrestrial radio, but I was always behind the microphone. I was never behind the board operating it. So, and I was also in print, and as they always say, print's dead. I was wondering, is terrestrial radio dead? Is podcasting the new and soon to be only? And with that, someone trying to get into terrestrial radio, because I just love being in that radio station, man. So wondering, can you create in a podcast hurt your chances of getting terrestrial, such as like a topic, one of your guests like curses or something not FCC friendly? Can that hurt you getting in the door at a terrestrial radio station?
Man, that's a wonderful question, man, and I'm glad you asked it, because I love talking about this. For one, your last question, I don't think podcasting can hurt you. You look at Charlemagne the God, he's a syndicated radio personality, and he has podcasts, and there's cussing and stuff. That's the difference between the internet and terrestrial radio. The internet is the internet. It's not governed by the FCC. And for those that may not know who the FCC is, the Sean Anthony definition is it's the radio and TV popo. Okay. They police the radio and television, but the internet is a separate entity. It's the wild, wild west. That's what WWW stands for. Psych, just playing. But anyway, is terrestrial radio dead? I love that question. So I always revert back to is when MMA came and UFC fighting started to emerge, is boxing dead? The answer is no. Lord forbid, if there were a natural disaster, the power grid goes out, there's no Wi-Fi, how will you get information?
Time.
Radio
All right. All right, Joseph, you got the floor. Go ahead. Ask your question so Sean can answer.
What's good, fellas? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have a question. I just want to say this for anybody who's listening who may be new. How much Phil has helped me out and how much Sean has helped me out. I've taken all the information and I use it. I use it every day. And I appreciate you fellas. I'm actually working on an audiogram now for my podcast. I actually talked to Phil yesterday about a press kit. So if anybody who's new and who's trying to make it, I've taken everything that Sean has showed me and, I do it. And it takes work, and it's kind of hard when you have a 9-to-5. But if you stay committed, it'll work out.
Absolutely, thank you, Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you. But Stephanie White, you have the floor. Ask your question. Stephanie. All right. No, Stephanie.
I think I got it on. Does it work? I'm waiting on it. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So when, in the summertime, I do a lot of podcasting, at the swimming pool and stuff. So when you guys are talking about branding and analytics and, the age groups and stuff that follow you at that time, at what point is it that you should start taking your podcast to other radio stations or get it syndicated,
A podcast is not for terrestrial radio. Podcasting is internet based. So yeah, radio, terrestrial radio is a different animal compared to, podcasting is strictly online, the internet.
Okay, so what I'm meaning is if I podcast for 2-3 hours and 800 people are following me throughout that time, at what point of how many people should I have following me on different outlets before I take it somewhere and ask somebody to pick up my program?
I think that would be at your discretion. If you got people, following you on social media, or that podcast that's online, I would just continue to grow that. It's nothing wrong with having a strong online presence and growing that platform right there on the internet. As far as terrestrial radio, taking a podcast to terrestrial radio, that's a different conversation. Podcasts don't air on terrestrial radio. Podcasts air on the internet. You understand?
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Right now, it is 2:28, 2 minutes before we end everything. Sean, thank you so much for everything that you've shared. There's so much to talk about, but we only have 60 minutes to talk about it. But before we leave, closing thoughts. What would you say to people who want to be on-air personalities for terrestrial radio, want to be on-air personalities for podcasting? What would you say to those people who are getting started and to those people who have already gotten started?
Just consistent, like some of the things that I mentioned before. Just stay consistent, you know, and the brand will evolve, the followers will come, as long as you're, you know, being true to yourself. As far as radio, the sites that I mentioned throughout this interview, tap into those sites. As far as applying, you're going to need a demo. Get your resume nicely, professionally done. And listen, this industry is small. Your reputation travels. You know, how you treat people travels. How your etiquette is, how you know, your appearance and everything, all of that stuff, you know, it ties into who you are. So you want to make sure that you are the best representation of yourself. Okay. And lastly, I just want to thank you guys for this opportunity. Thank you, Phillip, for you know, narrating and moderating this whole thing. Thank you, Linda, for reaching out, and I just appreciate the opportunity to teach you guys at the Ohio Media School in the Columbus campus. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely, my pleasure. With that being said, you can check out Sean Anthony on Magic 95.5 on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, right, Sean?
Saturdays 5 to 10, Sundays 4 to 7. You can go to mycolumbusmagic.com. My Instagram is Sean Anthony Live, Twitter at Sean Anthony. Flow of wisdom, everything, you know. So, and be consistent with your brand. Be consistent with your brand. Don't have, you know, the baby boy monopolist, you know, I'm the joint, you know, on Twitter, and then, you know, shuckingandjiving.com. Like, be consistent with your brand, okay?
That was awesome. Wait a second. So consistency is the word of the day. I want everybody to write that and put it every place you look, every mirror, every rear view mirror. Excellent hour, gentlemen. I learned a lot, and I'm sure our attendees really had a good time listening to you. Just a great job. So with that, we're going to say thank you to both Sean and to Phillip for being so awesome today. And thank you to everybody who's joined in and stuck with us through the hour. I know everybody will be better for what they were able to take in today. So thank you so much. And we hope to see you back in 2 weeks at the next BEONAIR webinar. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.